playing on her lips. I also understand why you did it, and I've been thinking a lot about what you said. She met his gaze, her eyes sparkling with a familiar warmth. About loving me. Jack held his breath. It's funny, she mused, how sometimes the truth is right in front of you, but you're too busy looking for something else to see it. She paused, then took his hand, her touch sending a jolt through him. I broke up with Mark last night. He's a wonderful man, but he's not you. Jack's heart soared. Janet, are you saying? She squeezed his hand. I'm saying that maybe, just maybe, this stupid, complicated, wonderful life we've built here, full of lies and misunderstandings and inflatable boats, is exactly where I'm meant to be. And maybe, just maybe, the person I'm meant to be with has been right here all along. A wide, genuine smile spread across Jack's face, a smile that reached his eyes and made them sparkle with pure joy. Janet, She leaned in, her eyes twinkling. Oink, oink, Jack. He laughed, a joyful, unrestrained sound. Meow meow, Janet. Their laughter filled the apartment, a sound of relief and new beginnings. Cindy, peeking from the kitchen, grinned, a knowing look in her eyes. Kevin, arriving with fresh pastries, simply smiled, happy to see his friends, happy. The path ahead wouldn't be easy. There would be more misunderstandings, more awkward encounters with Mr. Furley. But for the first time, Jack and Janet were facing them together, as a couple, no longer bound by a lie, but by a truth that had finally set them free. The Santa Monica breeze, whispering through the open windows, seemed to carry a new, hopeful melody, a promise of a future where their kisses were theirs, and their history was just beginning. Weeks turned into months, and the apartment on Ocean Avenue found a new rhythm, one infused with a quiet, blossoming romance between Jack and Janet. Their relationship, initially tentative and a little awkward as they navigated the transition from best friends to lovers, soon deepened into a comfortable, profound connection. The gay chef's charade, though no longer actively maintained by Jack, remained an unspoken assumption for Mr. Furley, creating a constant source of comedic tension and private amusement for the couple. One evening, Mr. Furley, ever the nosy landlord, found Jack and Janet sharing a quiet dinner, their hands clasped across the table. He cleared his throat loudly. Jack, still looking after your lovely roommate. A true friend indeed. He winked at Jack. It's good to see such platonic affection. Jack and Janet exchanged a glance, a silent communication passing between them. Jack, no longer burdened by the lie, simply smiled. Something like that, Mr. Furley. Something like that. He squeezed Janet's hand, a gesture that spoke volumes to her, if not to their oblivious landlord. Their dates were often simple, intimate affairs within the apartment. Jack cooking exquisite meals, Janet arranging flowers to set a romantic ambience, and long talks late into the night. They explored Santa Monica together, hand in hand, rediscovering their city through the eyes of newfound love. They even braved a few double dates with Cindy and Kevin, whose innocent romance provided a refreshing contrast to their own convoluted journey. Cindy, in her own right, was flourishing. Her photography classes ignited a passion she never knew she possessed. Her work, often whimsical and full of candid charm, began to gain recognition at local student exhibitions. She found a true sense of purpose, a life beyond Chris's shadow. Kevin, with his unwavering support and gentle humor, was her rock. Their relationship, built on shared interests and mutual respect, was a testament to the power of simple, honest affection. Janet's floral business, Janet's Petals, also experienced a surge in success. Her unique arrangements, infused with her artistic vision, became highly sought after for weddings and events across LA. She hired a part-time assistant, a bubbly art student named Chloe, and even considered expanding into a larger studio space. The financial stability brought a welcome peace of mind to the apartment. Jack, inspired by Janet's belief in him, threw himself into his culinary studies with renewed vigor. He excelled in his classes, his natural talent refined by discipline and passion. He began to dream of opening his own restaurant, a cozy bistro where he could combine his love for food with his desire to create a warm, inviting atmosphere. Janet was his biggest cheerleader, tasting his creations, offering constructive criticism, and always reminding him of his potential. However, the path of true love, especially in apartment 201, was never entirely smooth. One afternoon, a package arrived for Jack. It was a formal invitation to a prestigious culinary competition, a national event that could launch his career. It was in New York, and it would require him to be away for several weeks. Janet, though thrilled for him, felt a pang of apprehension. They had just found their footing, just acknowledged their love. The thought of a prolonged separation, especially so early in their relationship, was daunting. "New York?" she asked, her voice a little shaky. That's amazing, Jack. But for how long?" Jack saw the worry in her eyes. "A month, maybe 6 weeks, if I make it to the finals. It's a huge opportunity." "Jan." "I know," she said, forcing a smile. "This is your dream." But as the day of his departure approached, a quiet sadness settled over the apartment. Cindy and Kevin, sensing the bittersweet mood, tried to keep their spirits up, planning farewell dinners and offering words of encouragement. Mr. Furley, however, managed to add his own unique brand of chaos. He overheard Jack talking about his trip, and his imagination, fueled by years of misinterpretations, ran wild. "So, Jack, off to the Big Apple," Mr. Furley said, sidling up to Jack in the hallway. "A culinary competition, you say? Or is it a romantic rendezvous?" He winked conspiratorially. "I always knew you had a flair for the dramatic, my boy. A secret lover in New York. How very European of you." Jack sighed, rubbing his temples. The lie, it seemed, would follow him wherever he went. He decided not to correct Mr. Furley, knowing it would only lead to a convoluted explanation he didn't have the energy for. The night before Jack left, he and Janet sat on the sofa, holding hands, the silence punctuated only by the distant sounds of the city. "I'm going to miss you so much," Janet whispered, leaning her head on his shoulder. "I'll miss you too," Jack replied, his voice thick with emotion. "Every single day. But this is, for us, for our future." He pulled her closer, kissing her hair. "And I'll call you every night, and text you every morning, and send you postcards of the Statue of Liberty wearing a chef's hat." Janet laughed, a tear escaping her eye. "You better." The separation was harder than either of them anticipated. Jack, immersed in the intense pressure of the competition, found solace in Janet's nightly calls. Her voice was his anchor, a reminder of the love waiting for him back home. He sent her photos of his dishes, snippets of his experiences, and silly drawings of famous New York landmarks. Janet, though busy with her business, felt a void in the apartment. She missed Jack's laughter, his spontaneous cooking experiments, his comforting presence. She found herself looking at the empty space on the sofa next to her, wishing he was there. Cindy and Kevin were wonderful company, but it wasn't the same. One particularly stressful week, Janet faced a major challenge at her flower shop. A large wedding order was accidentally done, and she found herself scrambling to source enough rare orchids for both events. Overwhelmed and exhausted, she called Jack, her voice trembling. "I don't know what to do, Jack," she confessed, close to tears. "It's a disaster. I'm going to lose both clients." Jack, despite being thousands of miles away, and in the midst of his own high-stakes competition, was instantly there for her. He listened patiently, then offered calm, practical advice, drawing on his own experience with high-pressure situations in the kitchen. "Okay, Jan, breathe. You're a pro. Think outside the box. Is there another supplier? Even if it's last minute, can you substitute with something equally beautiful?" And explained the situation to one of the brides. His steady voice, his unwavering belief in her, was exactly what she needed. Inspired by his confidence, Janet ran. She found an emergency supplier, worked through the night, and managed to deliver stunning arrangements to both weddings, saving her business and her reputation. When she called Jack to tell him the good news, her voice was filled with gratitude. "You saved me, Jack. Thank you." "Always, Jan," he said, his voice warm. "Always." The experience, though stressful, solidified their bond. It showed them that their love could withstand distance and challenges, that they were a team, supporting each other through thick and thin. As the weeks passed, Jack excelled in the culinary competition, surprising even himself. He made it to the finals, showcasing a dish inspired by the vibrant, diverse flavors of California, a tribute to his home and the woman he loved. He didn't win first place, but he placed high enough to catch the attention of a renowned restaurant who offered him an executive chef position at a new, upscale eatery opening in Santa Monica. The news was Jack called Janet, his voice bursting with excitement. I got the job, Jan, right here in Santa Monica. I'm coming home. Janet's scream of joy echoed through the phone line. Oh, Jack, that's incredible.